Test. Hello. I'm verifying my last my git diff so I can commit it before I start with the stream, as it were, with whatever I just typed in the description. This comment is not really, should not really be there, I think. What is called vulkan bash? Oops, I meant grab project sources. Definitely need to change my music again because they have vocals. Okay, I can commit this. No new files. Oh, you have new files. Got to look at that as well. Texture array range. I think I need a convention to split it up. This is not a texture array. It's more like a texture plus an array range. You know, this is the texture and this is the array range. But it's not clear if the split is here or that the split is here, or that there is no split at all. Actually, it is a texture array, as you know. Let me add some comments. Descriptor array target indices or indexes. I think I chose to use in my program. Hey, Nigain. And then I found that still easier to pronounce than the first name. Could I call you Ian? Is that an I? Maybe I can call you Ian. It is an L, Lance. Now I have to remember that, but since it starts with launch, the name, I should be able to remember that it is lens. Work in progress. Okay, so I wrote a big lump of text in big chunk of text in the description. Let me analyze that. Might as well delete all of this, because I don't understand anything of it anymore. Don't know what that was about. I can look it back in my streams, I guess, but and then I probably have to look at every stream. Too much time. Maybe new readme is better. No clue. That is a good idea, maybe, to use a date, because then I can find back the video in which I created it. '01, December 22. 2022. Okay, so we have the following. I have a GLSL ID. Yeah, it's called like that. For example, combined image sampler top. And I have another one that is called bottom 0. These strings are related to an object. Here I have top and bottom 0, and you also have a bottom 1, that's the last one. And we're using that here. Okay, that's just a debug name for the Vulkan debug name. I meant here, in this line, I'm setting the GLSL ID postfix because it's just the last part, top or bottom 0, bottom 1, not the stuff that goes before that with the double columns. I set it on an M combined image sampler, which is having the type shader builder, shader resource combined image sampler, which is this class. So that would be this function, which is defined here, and which then creates the task. It's also called combined image sampler updater. No, it's was also called this, but now it's has an updater after it. Okay, so that lives in namespace descriptor and is called combined image sampler updater, and it is a task, and I'm creating it passing the GLSL ID full postfix. So this would be creating this class, passing the postfix. And then here we see what the real strings look like. The full string is made by taking the string combined image sampler and then colon colon, followed by what you pass, followed by the postfix. And that is then passed to the create function of combined image sampler shader resource member. It's kind of disappearing in the bowels of my engine, but okay, it's being stored here. No, I cannot. I don't know what that is, Fendi. Note how this array has no size. So what this is doing is it's allocating memory for itself, and then the class is stored in that memory. You know, we just allocate enough memory to store the whole string right here. So it's a combination of a shader resource plus a string of undefined length, and all of it is being put in one memory block. And now we use a new with placement to construct the object in that allocated memory. So this is a static function, create. And it returns a pointer to that, a unique pointer even. Which then is stored in a member. So this class, the updater, has a unique pointer to a memory allocation that contains the full GLSL ID string. After calling it, and it is a task, and it is being run also, the task being started. As you could see here, the run is being called after that. Even though after it's being run, I still set some more information, binding flags that we want to use, and the size of the array. I'll get back to that later, I guess. So I can go back to my readme. So this is the full string, right? We have the last string that we have is this. And these strings are one-on-one associated with combined image sampler objects that the user defined. as you could see here. See, the number of combined image samplers is 3. This array has a size of 3, storing the combined image sampler, and then on this object I set these strings, 3. The first one for the first element, the second one for the second element, and the third one for the third element in this array. Which happens below here. Oh, already had that. Happens in this line. User defined doesn't actually mean instantiated. Not well. Now, what else does the user create? I want to do this from the viewpoint of the user, because that is definitely the smallest footprint here. Before we dive into the guts of the Vulkan engine. The user does a few more things, namely, apart from these strings and the associated combined image sampler objects here. The user creates an array of textures here, where currently the number of textures is equal to the number of samplers. What it's kind of abused, I think, and I definitely want to have a lot more textures than 3 at the moment. I'll fix that later, I guess. But textures are just, you know, the textures that you load from hard disk, or wherever you get your images from. It's my cat and my beetles and my wall texture. But I also have, well, here we see something, pipelines. But more importantly, pipeline factories. This application currently has 2 pipeline factories. And this is user code, and the user does for each pipeline factory, well, actually it's a handle, as you can see. One calls create pipeline factory. Let's just forget the arguments at the moment. After creating a pipeline factory, you can add characteristics to it. In this case, we have only one characteristic. So we have to call on the pipeline, which was created here. That didn't work. That is that same thing here we just created is assigned here. Sorry, is used here, and then we call on those two objects. We call add characteristic, and then a user-defined class, and that happens just once for each pipeline. This returns an ID. There appears a range here out of nowhere, but this is because this is actually a range to make it more complex. So the texture test pipeline characteristic is the user-defined class. We're still in window.h. That is derived from vulkan pipeline characteristic, which happens to be derived from characteristic range, but without having a range. So it is a range, but the range is has a size of 1. The only range value that it has is 0. The characteristic range, however, and is a task, could have run over many values. There's a begin and an end and a current index that it is running over. So whatever, even though it is a range of size 1, I'm still storing it in a characteristic range named array here. So we could add multiple characteristics, and each of them could be a range. And then basically we run the task, because each thing is a task. Let me see what exactly happens. If you call generate on a pipeline factory handle, it is, then it calls it passes the handle to the member function pipeline factory of the owning window, which then returns the actual factory, and on that we call generate, and then I guess we get here. That's another one. And we get here, and that sends a signal fully initialized to the task that we already did start, and then the task will continue running because it was waiting for that signal. It will continue in this state. So then we start running here. It's a very difficult task, very, very difficult task. But in abstract, what it does is it runs over all the ranges of all the characteristics. It calls initialize on each characteristic, and then afterwards it calls it updates the range values of all the characteristics that have actually ranges, and then call the member function fill on each characteristic to adjust itself for the new range value. That's why I call the range the value that the range is run over also the fill index. I'm currently have no code whatsoever that does any of that. I do not have any ranges at all. So I never really tested this code. Now each characteristic in itself is a task. So during the initialization, I start the task, the characteristic tasks. And then afterwards, I would do something that comes down to having multiple for loops, nested for loops inside each other that run over all the ranges of all the characteristics. But we're not doing that at the moment. And that then we'll call, let's see. That then sets the current fill index on the characteristic and then sends a signal to the task that now it has to fill it or react to the new fill index. Now the texture test pipeline characteristic that I'm using here does just some initialization. This is initialization code. And then we have compilation code afterwards. Compilation of the shader. It does a lot of stuff. It's not really relevant. We are only really interested in the combined image samplers at the moment, which is this part. Just this part. Most notably to call to this function here. Now, although this happens in the initialization part, we don't have a fill part. It could also happen in the fill part of this task. And as you can see, we just access the combined image samplers, sampler array even from the window. So that is again this user-defined array of combined image samplers that are just associated with those GLSLID strings. And it tells the engine that the pipeline that it is currently creating is using that. That comes down to that the current pipeline will have shaders that have those strings in them. So here I have shader code. Here you have one such string. Combined image sampler colon top. And here we have another string. Combined image sampler colon bottom 0. These strings appear in shader template code. And I have two of them. And this one uses bottom 0, but this one doesn't. This one uses bottom 1. And this shader code is used by pipeline number 0. and this one is used by pipeline number 1. So depending on the pipeline, I have to add one or the other object, you know, the object that is associated with the string. In the case of pipeline 0, I have to say add this one and add this one, and in the case of pipeline 1, I have to say add this one and add this one. So it knows which are going to be used. So that was like add combined image sampler. Oh, let's show. And you can see that happening here because I'm using a temporary array here. It's just a local array. And we're running over the number of combined image samplers per pipeline. Well, how many are that? Well, it's 2. See? I just pointed them out in the GLSL ID code. Sorry, in the GLSL code. Template, rather. We had the top and the bottom 0. That's 2. Or we had the top and the bottom 1. That's also 2. So each pipeline uses 2. And the window, the user code, has this returns an array to our user array, and that had top in index 0 and bottom 0 in index 1 and bottom 1 in index 2. So for pipeline 0, we want to use 0 and 1 here, and for pipeline 1, we want to use 0 and 2. And that is done by I running over 0 and 1, and then use that as an index into this array. And then we get for pipeline 0, we get 0 and 1, and for pipeline 1, we get 0 and 2. So that would be top and bottom 0 for pipeline 0, and top and bottom 1 for pipeline 1. If you can follow that. Well, that's about it, I think. That's how we link, how we tell the engine that... also, of course, we have to use the correct shaders. Let's see what that happens. That happens even below that. I think it happens also above that. No, it doesn't. Well, it happened at 2 places. Yeah, here's another one. So for compiling, so this is the one where we really pick them for pre-processing. Because they have to be pre-processed before we can compile them, because those strings, those what I call them GLSL ID strings, are not GLSL code. They have to be pre-processed and replaced with something. There cannot occur double colons in the GLSL code. And here I'm telling that for pipeline 0 I want to use the frag 0 code, template code, and for pipeline 1 then we'll use the frag 1 template code. So I can quickly go back to show that again. So this is the frag 0 code, which uses the GLSL ID string with bottom 0. And the frag 1 code here uses bottom 1 as string. So we switch also the shader code here. Okay. And then finally, of course, we have to assign textures to this. So I have vocals again. Let me try this music again, otherwise I'll just switch to hello. Okay, it doesn't want to work anymore. I'll just play music here. Yeah, textures. Okay, let's go back to the window. So we have textures, and we load the textures from disk somewhere here, I guess. We'll upload the textures to the GPU. But what I'm currently interested in is this line here, where the textures are linked to the combined image samples. So this is the same array as we used before. These things, which are associated with these strings here. And now I'm linking them to textures. And that goes with a bunch of textures at the same time if that descriptor is actually a descriptor array. So in this case, sys is of course either 0, 1 or 2, because you have 3 of those things. And then I'm linking the first, I'm linking, these are arrays of size 2, each of them. And I'm setting index number 1, as you can see here, of that array that belongs to the sys combined image sampler here, to be this texture. And we can make this a whole range. I could say 1 till 3, and then it would just use this texture and the next one in this array and the next one. And this part here is actually confusing me even, because I would say, why do we even need more information here? Well, these are what was returned when we added characteristic. So you have a given factory and a given characteristic, and the combination thereof results in a factory characteristic range IDs, which is actually just a wrapper of both of the IDs. Type of the thing is a factory characteristic ID, which is just a wrapper around the pipeline factory ID index and the characteristic range index. The same object also remembers the size of the range. That's not really part of the ID. So knowing this, we know the factory and the characteristic. So apparently I'm saying here, update the combined image sampler. That was added to, that was added by this factory and this characteristic. Now, you could wonder then what happens if I pass an ID here that didn't add that combined image sample at all. Then nothing should happen, I would imagine. But in our case we added, I think, everything. No, wait, we didn't, right? Wait. We didn't. It's a bit unfortunate that the timer stuff made this very unreadable. Well, basically it's a for loop over all the pipelines and a for loop over the combined image samplers as index, where we skip the one that is not used by that given pipeline. And because sys stands for top, bottom 0 or bottom 1. And only pipeline 0 uses bottom 0 and only pipeline 1 uses bottom 1. So we skip one of them. And then we only get here for sys 0 for top and bottom 0, and only sorry, sys 0 is top. So then we get here for both pipelines. But if sys is 1, then that is bottom 0, which is only used by pipeline 0. We should only get here while pipeline is 0 and not while pipeline is 1. And then for sys is 2, which is bottom 1, we only get here when pipeline is 1. And that's simply done by this check here, I guess. Now if you want to investigate what happens when we pass an ID that has nothing to do with the combined image sampler, aka didn't add it, do we crash or does it just do nothing? Then I would say let's update top and then swap bottom 0 and bottom 1. So what if I just change this pipeline here in 1 minus pipeline, because pipeline runs from 0 to pipeline is equals 0 or 1, of course. So if I swap the pipeline here by making it 1 minus pipeline, then we get an ID back for bottom 0 and for bottom 1 that didn't even add that. So that is a mismatch then. It should not make a difference for top, because the top texture was added by both pipelines. So that we would swap them, but they would still work. I'm kind of curious what this does. Okay, so the top texture is indeed still assigned, even though it got swapped. And bottom 0 and bottom 1 are not assigned, because I tried to assign bottom 0 to this place here, I guess. But yeah, it was never registered. And bottom 0 is this, and this is bottom 1. But bottom 1 was added to pipeline 1, and now I'm trying to add do something to I'm trying to update bottom 1 added by pipeline 0. So that means I try to, I don't know, it doesn't even exist. There is only bottom 1 with pipeline 1. The right side here is pipeline 1 and the left side is pipeline 0. And again, this is top, this is bottom 0, this is top, this is bottom 1. So bottom 1 was added by pipeline 1, but not by pipeline 0. So if I say put a texture at the place of bottom 1 as added by pipeline 0, that's a no-op. So but nothing happened. I'm still interested to see if there's any validation error happening because of this. It's maybe hard to see, but I don't think there's any error either. I just didn't do anything. It's good with me. So that was a fun little test, I guess. Okay, but what this all really about is that I fixed my readme to give an overview. We didn't get much further than that we have strings, and those are have a one-on-one relationship with the user-defined combined image sampler objects. Let me think. In theory, it's like I don't think I can put this in a text file. It doesn't even fit in a two-dimensional picture, I think. I need a lot of abbreviations at the very least to make it more readable. I think I'm gonna delete this because that makes it still unique, as it were. It's not the right word. I can't think of the right word. Okay, so there is a one-on-one relationship between each of these and a combined image sample. There is also a yeah, what is this? An in-on-im relationship, I'm afraid. It's hardly teaching us anything. With GLZL template code. Meaning that there can be any number of template codes, for example fragment shaders, which use any of these, one or more of these. So there could be one that uses top and bottom 0, and there could be one that is using top and bottom 1, for example. And you have 2 on this size, and the relationship would be 2 on 2, and then both would use 2 but not the same. That's my current test, my current example code. I'm not sure if that is clear enough. I just write it down. maybe I should add an example. Let's say this is, by the way, horrible code. That's definitely not what I'm going to use. To do an if and then switch array, it's no. But for testing, you know, it works. Yeah, let's put it over. Let's put it here for a moment. Cannot even put that on one line because it's too long. Let's make 2 lines. Nah, too long. So instead of showing the code, I'm going to only show the things. And then with dots around it is the code which I just deleted. And then this is one example of an GLSL template code. At least it fits. And another example would be yeah, so this template code could use top and bottom 0, or it could use top and bottom 1, or any other combination that you want. Now each of these things here refer to a shader. So, but we have more than one shader, so unfortunately it's not as simple that there is a one-on-one relationship with complete pipelines, but there is a one-on-one relationship with the shader. Okay, if I squeeze all the shaders in one line, that's why now I do not anymore say if this is the vertex, sorry, if this is used in the vertex shader or in the fragment shader or in any other shader. I'm just saying that in all the shaders combined, we use this and this. And that's actually how it works. I have to add them like that. I don't care which shader it is. Actually, I do care which shader it is. I have to tell it which shader as well. Yeah, no. I'm not even going to test that. So I'm just writing this readme in order to write a test program for it. And I'm only going to use this in the fragment shader. So let's say that there is a one-on-one relationship with the pipeline. I have here. What happens? Undo. The pipeline. It's not really true, I think. I could have multiple pipelines that use the same shaders even. Or different shaders, but the same string combinations. Yeah, I can have multiple pipelines that use the same string combinations. Definitely. Or we can have you cannot have the same pipeline that uses multiple string combinations. There is only one. So each pipeline uses exactly one of that. So this is a one-on-n relationship. Yep. But yeah, pipelines are created by pipeline factories. And a number of characteristic ranges. But that's the pipeline. It's only one of these characteristic ranges responsible for any given string here. Combined image sample top, for example, belongs to a given characteristic. In fact, it even belongs to a given range, subrange of that range. So that now it starts to become very hard to put all this in this ASCII file, I must say. But let's say that this range here runs from 0 till, I don't know, 0 till 100. And this one also. Then that can be divided into sub-ranges, say till 5, and then 5 till I don't know, 90, because we don't have space, and then 90 till 100. That doesn't fit. Same thing here, 0 till whatever, 9, 9 till 23, and 23 till 100. And more follows as well. And there is a one-on-one relationship between any of these strings and any of these subranges. How do I put that in here? That is that this subrange, for example, could be responsible for adding let's say this part could be adding bottom 0. And to make clear that bottom is not special, we can make this one responsible for adding the bottom one. But yeah, I'm adding here combined image sample top. Sorry, I assigned that. I wanted to assign that to this part here. But even as in the example here, I have two of them in different template code. And one of them could be linked to this subrange, but the other one could in theory be linked to a totally different pipeline factory in a different subrange. How can I picture that? I think. Okay, well, for example, by stating that this subrange here is also responsible for adding one of these things. I'm just putting it top here as well. And now in one of these blocks, being given a given this is a given pipeline factory and a given characteristic range. This one gives me one pipeline factory / characteristic range ID pair, which was returned by not this. How do I find that back? Something with ID, but oh, found it back. Yeah. So each characteristic, each factory characteristic pair gives me this ID. And we're only updating textures within one of these ID domains, say. This is mind-boggling. I cannot picture it. Yeah, Nando, if only I knew myself. I'm trying to come up with a test application that I can make to test all this. But it's so powerful that it doesn't feel like I can ever fit it into a single application to test everything. It's just too many possibilities. Because the thing that I didn't even talk about are arrays. Each of these things now can represent an array. So we have multiple of these things. Possibly multiple fragment shaders, template codes, multiple pipeline factories, multiple characteristics, and then within that multiple subranges, and then we have multiple textures assigned to each of those for the array. If even one dropped out, things would become simpler. On one hand, I feel like I need to test at least two ranges at the same time. But on the other hand, that might be, I don't know. I think it's only one range may be responsible for adding a given combined image sampler, so maybe I should really just use one range. And then also it could have multiple factories. But they are kind of treated together with the characteristic ID. Okay, if I have only one pipeline factory in one characteristic range, then that part would not be tested, because then the combination of pipeline factory plus characteristic range is always the same ID. I think I'd rather just do one pipeline factory and two characteristics, but maybe might as well mean it just doubles to two factories, why not? Okay, let's just do something, and then I don't know. It's better than nothing. So I'm gonna make again something with just textures, like I have now, but a lot more textures. And I'm going to, let's say we put I'll use 2 pipeline factories, and they are, let's say, just dividing the window in 2. So we have factory 0 here, and then the other half is an factory 1. So now when I show my application, I talk about pipelines. And so this is pipeline 0 and this is pipeline 1. But pipeline 0 is created by one factory, and pipeline 1 is created by another factory. So I could as well have said that this half is factory 0 and this half is factory 1. And I think we need to keep it that way. And then each factor is going to have a characteristic. Let's say characteristic 0 is here. So characteristic 0. Sorry, it's also characteristic 0. And then in this case, characteristic must be a range. And I do want to work with subranges as well, but okay, we'll have to specify the exact values, I guess. So we have 1, 2, cannot be too many. Maybe is this enough? So choose that as an example. And then we put characteristic 1 on the side here. Now I need to put arrays into it. So each individual factory characteristic 0 and 1 pair can be linked to its own combined image sampler, or in combination with the subrange of it, but only one characteristic at a time. So if the image sampler is say created by characteristic 0, it can be created by a subrange. For example, this subrange creates it and nothing else, but that means that it then exists for any value of characteristic 1, because the combined image sampler belongs to the characteristic 0 and is therefore independent of characteristic 1. But at the same time, it could be that characteristic 1 is responsible for creating a certain let's give this thing a value as well. 0, 0 at the top, why not? Let's say 0 here, and then 1, 2. Right, so it could be that this subrange here, 2 and 3 is a subrange, has its own combined image sampler associated with it. Then that would extend over all the values of characteristic 0. So all of these, because, well, but that means that if each subrange in both directions, horizontal and vertical, because that's how I'm going to visualize it, that means that each intersection here can be associated with 2 combined image samplers, aka 2 textures. And I still need to put arrays into it, because each combined image sampler can be an array of textures. So, yeah, I'll guess that for a given intersection, I could make a block of, say, doesn't really fit anymore. Let's say this belongs to the 2, 1 intersection. And then I can divide that into 2 parts. Damn it. And we can put an array in the left part that is associated with higher 0, and in the right part that is associated with any combined image sampler of characteristic 1, and then make a column of for the array. So divide it, I don't know, a few, at least 4, I think. And if all the characteristics are also have a size 4, then I get 4 times 4 is 16 textures vertically. And 1, 2 times 8 is also 16 horizontally. So then I get 16 times 16 is 256 textures at once. And they must be recognizable, more or less. So we know what it is. Yeah, is that something? Now let's I mean, of course it's very tempting to say I want unequal subranges. But then we have a subrange of size 3 and then subrange of size 1. Guess I can do that. But let's, for the rest, simply use subranges of size 2. So all of them are not size 1. And then here the same thing. because I think if this works, then well, it's can always change it a little bit afterwards manually, one thing at a time. So we could try this one as initially. Then we have, let's say, I can use the same textures in either factory or not. I mean, the factories are going to be the place where they're being put. So they use the same textures on this side and on that side. I don't think it will give too much confusion. I'm thinking about trying to figure out how many textures I want to have in total. Let's let's use very different textures for most things. To have at least the type of texture that belongs to this or that, or this or that, right? Well, including those, so that's 8. So it's literally one, not 8, it's 6. Yeah, 6, and then for the array, well, let's say, what did it say? 4. 6 times 4, I guess. 24 textures. Plus it would be nice if I could see at a glance that things are correct. I think I should generate the textures. Yeah, use certain colors for each different thing. And then I can see them appear at the right spot. Difficult. Okay, so I'm gonna have a texture for different texture for the factories, I said. Yeah, I guess. So F is the factory, and then let's say S is the subrange of char 0. So the S runs from 0 to 1, 0 being this and 1 being 3, and here 0 being this and 1 being that one. And then you have two subranges for char 1, let's call it then lowercase s. And then we have an A for the array. So A runs from 0 to, A has 4 values, this is 2 values, 2 values and 2 values. So that's 2 times 2 times 2 is 8, times 4 is, something was wrong. Yeah, it's nonsense. It is a 1s, sorry. We have a 0, 1. A is 0 or 1 or 2 or 3. Okay, I should have put it there, I guess. And S is 0. Dat is een gar 0. Subrange 0 to 3. So. Or 1, which is gar 0. 3. Or 2. Let's call this, actually it is off factory 0, right? So not smart to do that here next to my ASCII art. Silvertooth. Oh, thank you back for telling me. And don't forget to add comments that explain how to fix the code above every assert. I think that's even more important. You add an assert when the programmer using your code did something wrong, or yeah. Some people add asserts when they are feeling uncertain, but that's not the right way to use assert. You must feel certain no matter what. You must know what your program is doing and how it works. And then when you add an assert, that is simply because you could not avoid misuse of your code at compile time. So you're just not going to, you cannot do it. You have to do it during runtime. It's just not allowed. You cannot do this, but I cannot disallow you by making it not compile. So then you add an assert, and then you have to always add a comment. And the comment then says you did this and that wrong, and you have to fix it like that. F is 1, 2 to 4. Somehow I'm not happy with this. I thought I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 combined image sampler descriptors, but of course this characteristic 1 also applies either to factory 0 or to factory 1. So this is not totally correct, and maybe I should make a difference here as well. Say that this is factory 0, and then can put next to that factory 1, and then maybe I should put say factory 1 here, and then also make a different subrange for that one. So then characteristic 1 has a subrange for some combined image sampler with factory 0 that is different from factory 1, just like characteristic 0 has. Yeah, if you put that into this picture, I get this is correct, but then for factory 1 it just runs till 1, and then from 1 till 4. And then the total number of textures that I'm going to need is 4 times 8, and the F is already built in here. Does it make any sense now? Okay, the texture does not need to know anything about the subrange. So I'm actually going to give it a different value here, actually 2 and 3. And then this is again 0 and 1 and 2 and 3. And then let's put all zeros together, the 1s together and the 2s together. And then it just depends on the F value what the range is. I can put it like this. Right. Yeah, and so I need 32 textures, preferably Preferably something that tells me the F, S and A value. Well, I guess I could generate textures that are just a single color. You only have to test it a single time to see that a full texture actually works, and then for the rest I'm just interested in which texture it is, which you can encode in a single color, I think. Or I can just write the F, S and A value directly into the texture. Or a combination of that. Yeah, I could make textures like 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 2, etc. and 16 like that, and then make them two colors. One for each factory. I guess that's what I'm starting with, because what can I do without textures? And I'm going to make them by hand, because I think unless someone knows how to make these kind of textures, I don't. How can I make textures? Maybe they already exist. Very nice. Textures, 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 images. Image of number. Digits. Yeah, okay, I guess I could use this. My God. That's so hard. Completely overboard with making 8. And they look cool, I must admit that. And this one. Okay, now I'll be entirely happy if it just made all 32 textures for me by putting 2 digits on a row in one texture. I could it's a texture pose bunny, but I think I need to recognize what they are. If I take arbitrary photos, then it's going to be very difficult to debug anything that goes wrong. I want a texture that it puts 2 of these next to each other. This is also nice, very readable. Stock, no kind stock. Fuck off with your stock. I'm not gonna. Oh yeah, I have to pay me money for these. Yeah, well, okay. but I don't have money for textures. Come on, there must be free textures out there. Or I can just live with the whatever it is. I don't really care. Watermark. I only need very small textures. I can just copy them from my screen. Oh, they show all of them. Use paint to draw them. Yeah. But I don't know. I don't have paint, for example. I could just leave the watermark. Yeah, definitely. Or I can just make a copy and from what is it? A screen copy. These are to whatever it is. Oh no, this again. I cannot decide. Why can I not search for textures with 2 digits? And I'm sitting in can stock. And then you get on. No! Aha! Look, there we are. 2 digits. But no, they didn't make all of them. It does look super cute though. And I'm gonna need very small textures anyway. So I just need super simple digits. No wasting time. Carlo, stop wasting time. Get something. These are way too beautiful. Okay, that's it. I'm gonna take this one. What? There it is. Save it. Save image as. Where shall I save it to? Home. GIMP. Digital JPEG. Yeah, you have to cut it into pieces. I guess. All the anything goes thing. How about? Oh, wait, I'm looking at the wrong place. 40. Well, check it, check. Doesn't really matter. I guess as long as they are. 36 times 49. 49. Let's make it an even number, 50. Times 50. Nope. That's not 40. Size 40. 40 times 50. Yeah. The position is also important, I'm afraid. This is so difficult. I shouldn't care about it. Just do it. Okay. So I'm gonna do copy it or something like that. Image selection, edit. Select. How can I move the selection to a new layer? New layer from visible. Okay, I'll just make a new one. Why can I not simply move my selection? Yeah, there it is. Position. It's probably X, this one. And nothing happens. What the fuck, man? The size went from 5.1. What? This is completely ridiculous. Okay, I wanted to have 40, I think, by 50. and nobody highlight, nobody sees it. Let's give up. Just make a new one. Oh, this is something. Yeah, whatever. Why? Oh, that's the wrong layer selected. Okay. Layers, new layer. Oh, it's totally not what I wanted. Delete a layer. Okay. New layer. Maybe new layer from visible. That worked. Yeah. And then I can do crop to selection. So again, not working. To do it again manually for some reason. Right, did I select the wrong layer again? Yes, I did. And then we do again layer, new layer from visible. And then crop to selection. We have that one. And we go back here and I can move it. Finally I can move it. Okay. So we do new layer from visible. And then crop to selection. And go to the 4. Oops. I'm being stupid. I don't need 5, 6 and so on. Forget it. So we can delete this one and actually you can delete this one as well. So I'm done with that. I can delete this one and I can delete this one. I don't need a 4 either. So we have 0, 1 and 2. Okay, now we need to combine these things somehow. So let's first make separate images. Need 0, 0. Can duplicate this one, I guess. Let's just duplicate them. 2 zeros. Nobody knows what happened here. Right. Now let's put everything more or less in the same place, I guess, before you lose anything. 2, 2, 0, 3, 3. I don't know what this is. I don't know what that is. Yeah, okay, anyway, maybe move away from this. Seems also like a good idea. We're going to need 0, 0 though, and in the end it must be something squarish. Put it like this. 1, 1, 2, 2, 3. Okay, I'm gonna measure. There's no measure anymore. Where's my measure? Shift M. There we are. Measure. And why not measure? I think that should work ish. What did it just measure? Doesn't even say it anymore. Yeah, 77 pixels. Okay, make something of 77. 77, that's ridiculous. 77 by 77 pixels. Doesn't fit in 64 pixels. 64. That's a bit too, eh? Bit too small. Gotta rescale it afterwards, I guess. Let's make it 77 and I'll just rescale it. That looks like it. Now I want to resize everything. Image. Crop to selection. And then I think I just want a new layer actually. Let's make a new layer that is I don't know what is it. What is this? Okay, I need it to be white. My God, what is this? White. Okay, and now I can select. Let's say I'm gonna put this one over that thing, and then I don't know. Is this where it belongs? Who cares, dude? Who cares? But kind of looks like it belongs here. And then the two must be up, 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 up. No, what's the zero? Don't move the zero. Yeah, good enough, I guess. And the three. Poo poo. Okay. Next. So 0, 0. So you can just write this to file, I guess. Save as. Export. Okay, let's call this digit 0, 0. Should I not first resize it to 64 times 64? Size. I'm going to resize everything. Scale image. 64. Seems to work. Okay, file, export as, shift control E. So draw that like this, and then do call it digit 00. Hopefully that worked. Yes, and then we go back to 0, and this one is changed to 1. So much work. Okay, 0, 1, export, and then we can let's make it 1, 1, 1, export 2, 2, 3, 3, it's 20, 20. This one again. 21. And then 22. 22. And then 23. And 30, 30. Export, cancel. What is happening here? Didn't change this. 30. Export. 31. You. Right. I need all of them in 2 colors. Maybe I should have done that immediately, because that would have been faster. Is there an easy way to change the background, like load, change background, save? Or shall I just do everything again, but then with different colors? Nobody knows why this is not working. Because nobody knows. Nobody knows why this is not working. Well, how about that? Also not. It refuses me to override this. What? Why? This is ridiculous. Okay, I'm getting tired of this. Someone tell me, why can I not paint? Give it a different color. What kind of ridiculousness is this? I can make it black. I cannot make it green. Oh, it's painting with white. Oh my god, yeah. that was not. I could not have thought of that. It's a probably black and white thing. Jesus Christ. Image. I think it is not doing anything, but it's painting with white. Grayscale. Again. But yeah, that's sad because I'm not sure if it's going to work even if I have black and white pictures. Yeah, well now I'm almost done, Vajek. Plus, I never coded anything in my life with graphics before, so I don't know how to do that. I'll ask in the chat. Does anyone know? I mean, you could just, someone must be there who can just generate these things in a minute and then email it to me or something, but nobody reacted, so I just started. I guess that now only this is green and not the internal stuff, but it's good enough, right? I don't have to change that. Or I would have to do something like select by color. And then we can color it in. And then I have to do the other one. I'm creating textures. I'm creating 16 textures, and I need 32 textures in total. Stupid work. That's what it is. So this is again 0, 0, but now with a color. So it's like G of green. Okay. Quality. So export. Also that worked. So make it a 1. Return. I hope the last return works. 2. Turn. I think it works. 13. And then we go back to 0, and this one goes to 2. Now we have 20. Export. Export 1. Export 2. And then 0. Let's do 3. 30. 31. 32. And 33. Now I guess it's time to see if we can use these textures at all. Resources. I should have saved them here immediately. Nah, textures. Copy GIMP digit. Let's try to put them in here. Textures digit 13.png and G22 and G01. Let's do that. I better make one more change actually. That's strange. Could not open. Is that part of configure? Copying textures. Nobody understands why it's only doing it now. Well, I guess it has no problem with that this one is black and white and that's color and everything works. Looks very blurry though. Hey, it works. Then we can continue finally with the real thing. Okay, so I'm going to need two characteristics. And two factories. And arrays of size 4. Scary. Well, okay. Where shall we start? It seems to me that I need only simple pipeline. Okay, well, each characteristic, each factory will create one pipeline for any given characteristic range value. And I have two characteristics. So we're going to create in total 4 times 4 is 16 pipelines per factory. So 32 pipelines. But how many different shaders do I need? Can I even reuse these shaders? An instance here, which is just copied. Texture coordinate. Position, which you would get from the vertex data. And the instance position. And then I use a push constant here to change the x value. Oh, yeah. Well, okay. Could still do that too. As a function of, say, the factory, and then we have the position. Asking myself how I can change the position within one factory. There seems to be a texture coordinate, so I think we really have to have, let's say, each texture be an instance. which means that I need an instance for each think about this. I don't know how it works. Yeah, right. Of course, an instance is inside a given pipeline. So we can only have instances per the array index, which I didn't even actually support yet, I think. So the instance index is going to be used as the array index, and I didn't even make that work yet. Maybe I should do that. Here I'm using the instance to switch between top and bottom. Can't do that anymore. I started with passing a texture index here as a push constant. Well, I guess I was planning to use that as a array index. It's not a problem to be lazy in this case. So just use push constants wherever we can, instead of I don't know, do anything that is more work. I just don't. Well, okay. The most important thing that I want to test here is if I can even use foo here. I don't think this is even going to compile. Yeah, as soon as I get this to work, then at least we can use indexes into arrays. That means that I have to set mTexture index to 1 in order for this to work, right? Because only 1 is being filled at the moment. Could do the same thing here. It's not working. I have to find out why it is not working and then fix it. So I have push constant. I have an integer defined called mTexture index. But that's just defined. These are the GLSL shader codes. And I'm pushing it. Push constant. Texture index being pushed, yeah. Oh, here's the value. The value is set to 1 at the moment here. So the PC texture index is being pushed there and with the value 1. So it should work out of the box if it compiled. test it. It's not compiling. That's cool. It's telling me that I need this extension. Not bad at all. So telling me my engine is telling me that it's trying to compile this. So it generated some declarations here, and it replaced my GLSL ID strings with something else, including that one. And then the compiler, the GLSL compiler says, yeah, but we can not do that. And I happen to know that, of course, I can spy on Sasha Willem's code, who is doing this as well. So fragment code here. See, that's what we need. And then I think we need just to do that as well. I'm gonna do it one step at a time. Let's first just include this. I would say it has to add that. Oh wait, that's the vertex one. I think I only need it here, right? And here, actually. I could have that added automatically when the engine sees that I'm trying to do this. Maybe making it too difficult for myself now. Let's just add it by manually anyway now, and then see what happens. Holy shit, it works. No, and I'm not sure what that wrapper is doing here. A non-uniform extension wrapper around his flat index. It's a flat int. And it seems that I'm not, I'm not needing it. Well. But hey, isn't it great? And we can close this, I guess, right? Do I keep it? Probably should keep it. Digit X CF, not documents. I want to save this at GIMP. GIMP digit.xcf. That looks okay. Save. Yep. And then we can close this. Okay, well, foo was just to test if it compiles. Oops. If that part worked, but I'm going to use it directly, I think, directly from the push constant there. Not to mention that I have to change it completely anyway, right? Still the same thing. Dee-doo-dee, da-dee-da. Same thing. And then what is next? You can do arrays now. I think I'm gonna go back to my readme to ponder about this. So yeah, the factories create pipelines, and they create a pipeline per range times range. So this factory is going to create 16 pipelines, and this one too. That's 32 pipelines. And every pipeline then is responsible for one of these things here, which exists of 4 images as an array here. So basically 2 descriptors. This cannot be in the same descriptor set, so there's going to be 2 different descriptor sets, each with an unbounded array of size 4. And I want to display that. So one pipeline has to display 8 images. And then I can use I think I just can use 8 instances. So the instance is going to be telling me which array element it is and which characteristic it comes from. So sorry, no, which a combined image sampler set I need to use. But then the positioning of that thing, which is one by one pipeline, must be done by push constants. So I need a push constant to tell me which factory it is, and then also the value of the characteristics. Is that even possible? Yeah, I'm going to need to bind each pipeline one by one. And I guess that at that moment I also know who generated it. And I probably can even look at my current code, because then at least I generate one pipeline. Because what I have now is factory 0 on this side and factory 1 on that side. And it has only one characteristic, and the characteristic has only one value. But I'm still using a push constant to put it left or right, depending on which factory it is. And then I have to look for a way to extend that to also knowing which characteristic the pipeline belongs to. I don't know, let's search for something. Draw frame. There we are. Recording of the command buffer. We are going to have a massive amount of graphics pipelines now, and they all need to be ready before we can do something. At least as long as this hack is not this is not supported. But yeah, I had 2 pipelines, so that it is interesting in itself that I now know. We're going to have an index into mgraphics pipelines that tells me which pipeline it is, and aka it tells me which factory or which characteristics are being used. That's going to be the way it works, I guess. And then here inside, I'm just simply running over all the pipelines already. Is this all the code there is? What's nothing that happens below this? No, this is IMQ, and then we're done. It's really small. Right, so yeah, we're going to run over all 32 pipelines, and then we have to bind the pipeline, and then we have to bind descriptor sets. And since my engine is doing all of that, I don't need to change anything here. This is just going to be the way it is. You get the pipeline from this array with PL and then handle. And here the same thing. Pipeline with PL and then layout. And here the pipeline PL and then VHV descriptor sets, current, whatever. Never changes. But I do need to set push constant that depend on the pipeline, as discussed before. And then we have to push the push constant, and then we can draw it. And drawing happens, let's see what's exactly happening here. I think this is a single square, and then 2 is 2 instances. So 2 is the number of instances, yeah? Yeah. What is the last 2 zeros? This is a vulkan function, tool, called on command buffer. Let me just go to push constants and then find draw. I think these two. Dispatch is somehow, I don't know where that comes from. Maybe it's another call and then we end up here. So the vertex count is 6, I guess. What was it? Okay, vertex count, instance count, first vertex in first. This is not the draw call that we have. It's another draw call. There's not another draw call. I'm confused. Vertex count, instance count, first vertex and first instance. Okay. So count and first. Oh, like that. It's yeah, of course. So I thought there was commas here, but because it was so long, but it is. So we have this number of vertices and this number of instances, and we just start at 0 every time. I guess I could use this as well. I could use these two to do the displacement. Just have to upload a shitload more vertices, just all the vertices of the whole image. So that is done times 32, I guess, right? 32 more. And then use PL to say where to start. And then it would also be put on different places. But let's just use push constant because I don't feel like changing my vertex buffer code with this. In the end, it's I don't know. Yeah, and let's do it away. So it's not even, it's not not a subject at the moment. So I have to tell it what the I think this is the array index then, and then this is going to be a position. And I need a vector, vec2 for that. I think the smartest thing is to first decode the index of my graphics something. So this is what the heck? Nope. I'm in window.h. It's not what I wanted. Okay, I'm lost. It is here. Yeah, this is the line that I was finding. Yeah. That is this file. I just have to scroll up. Fix me, this is a hack. I looked for a hack with capitals and capital H, and I missed it. M graphics pipelines. Or is that being filled? Why is it so cold here? My hands are cold again. Even though it is not as cold as last time. Okay, why am I passing only a single pipeline here? I suppose this is filling it, so passing it by reference or something. Yep, it's pipeline out, it's passed by reference. But pipeline factory can create many pipelines, not just one. Nothing. Hmm. Well, here is debug output. It says that this pipeline factory pointer is creating the graphics pipeline with range values. So these are we have two characteristics, and then it prints out the range values. So these range values for each characteristic runs from 0 to 4, 0, 1, 2, 3. So you get to see, for example, 1 and 2, or 0 and 3. And yeah, somehow I have to get that data back, right? But more importantly, then where does that pipeline go to? So this is very much where it is being created. So this moved. It is moved to the move new pipeline synchronously task, and then it's gone from here. Yeah, because I did grab for a set pipeline, and it's just not even called at all. So it seems we don't get any feedback, or what the hell is going on here? What is being passed here, apart from the handle that was just created, is maybe this. And it's telling it which pipeline factory it is. And is some kind of pipeline index. Maybe that can be decoded again to the range values. So this variable, right? The pipeline index thing is that. Oh wait, we have many indexes, but only one pipeline index. Ew, that's this one. Yeah. This comment here claims that pipeline out, which is a reference to my thing that I'm actually using even. Like, would be set in the state move new pipelines need action. Oh, but that's part of a, wait a minute. That's part of the move new pipelines task, not the task that I was just looking at. Maybe I should just jump to here. What did we do? I wanted to press F7 and then I come back here. It's defined here. It's defined here. Pipeline factory. Yeah, I don't see it called set pipeline from here, but every new pipeline is being passed to the window here. Together with a pipeline handle and layout. There's my set pipeline. So apparently the window has an pipeline factories. Yeah, that is just factories. Wait a minute. This makes no sense whatsoever. Seems there's no support in the code yet for factory creating more than one pipeline. That is 6. Single pipeline is passed by reference to a pipeline factory, and then if we receive a new pipeline and that the thing that we passed is then past the pipeline that we get here. which contains a handle to the layout, a handle to the pipeline itself, and this thing, whatever it is, descriptor set per set index per frame resource. Okay. So for each frame resource we have a vector of descriptor set, which is then again a function of set index. I really don't want to know. I don't want to know. Yeah, the only thing I can say about this is that it shows how important it is to never make mistakes. If you write code, it's really important that you write code that is correct. If you write fuzzy code that might or might not work, and well, I'll see later, and you run into things like this. Imagine that I had written this thinking, well, I'm not sure, but maybe it works. And then weeks later I run into it again and I'm like, huh, what is this? Then I should be able to rely on my past self having written it with no bugs. It just works. Perfect code. I don't have to look at it. Much better than, oh my god, so many things piling up that could be wrong. In fact, I'm not feeling very certain about it at all. That this is all working perfectly. I understand what frame resources are. It's like while you are displaying a frame, there is a lot of resources that you cannot touch at that same time, because the resources are being used by the GPU to draw that frame. And if you already want to continue preparing the next frame, then it's very handy and it speeds things up to use different resources for the next frame. So having 2 of those, or in some cases maybe even 3, can speed up things. Let's say we have 2 of them, then every odd frame we use those resources, and every even frame we use the other resources. So we can work on it while displaying. But this, I mean, every frame resource now contains yet another vector, descriptor sets. Well, okay, I mean, a given pipeline has multiple descriptor sets, I guess. Can have that. Definitely can have that. Okay, I guess that's it. Just all the descriptor sets that are being used by this pipeline. So, did I write my frame resource capable descriptor set later or something? Or something like that. Frame resource capable something. Descriptor set. Yeah. Looks like duplicated code then. I already have a frame resource capable descriptor set, and then again forget about the whole frame resource thing. Just can treat it as a descriptor set. So I think what I should do is have a vector of frame resource capable descriptor sets per set index, and then not have this. Constructor. For example, we have this VHV descriptor sets. So you pass the frame resource index, and then you get a vector of a descriptor set back. Okay, so let's have a look at my frame resource capable descriptor sets. ASCII, no, this one. Well, this one only returns a single descriptor set, not a whole bunch of them. So the ordering is different. Now I have a vector of so frame resource vector of descriptor sets, and then I would have a vector of frame resource vector of descriptor sets. It's the other way around. I'm not sure if that makes a big difference. I guess it comes down to the question who calls this and how is it used. If I really need a standard vector of descriptor sets that are used in this pipeline, then they must be stored like this, and then I cannot use the frame resource capable descriptor set. So who is calling this is the main question. Steve, oh well, I'm sorry to hear that. It actually means that you can follow it a little bit, I think. If I mean, I don't know how much you're joking, but if you feel if you're watching this and you start to feel nauseous or weird in your head, then it's not going over your head. You can more or less follow it. It's just too much then. The question was who's calling this, right? So there's one, it's a user code. Oh, right, yeah. Definitely. It's used in binding in descriptor sets. So this definitely must be stored like that. That's not duplicated code. Okay, yeah, I think it's time for a break, probably, ish. Didn't eat dinner yet. I think I'm going to eat dinner. But yeah, it seems that I can only do one pipeline per factory at the moment, which is very bad. It's very broken. I mean, I knew I didn't really fully support ranges yet, but I thought that actually I did, except that I never tested it. Now it turns out that I did not fully support it at all. So I cannot write my test application right away. I first have to add support for this, including change of APIs. Annoying. Okay, Post Bunny, yeah. Wait. I was the one who got the back, neck, shoulder rub, right? Do you need one yourself now, suddenly? I wish you could play Magic Survival on my on Steam or something, so I could play it here. Just such a fun game. Okay, break. Why chess? We're playing a game of chess here. Just feel like playing chess here. Nothing happens. Yeah, no, nobody wants to play. What is going on here? I don't know. Well, I could definitely need to use one or need one. Have one. What is this? What is this? Well, I'll just play this anyway. And we take that like that. Oh, he's so scared that I go there. So let's not go there. What about this move? Really doesn't want to play that. Let's play this. Hope that he plays his knight here, so I can take that. He's probably not going to do that though, if you look at his rating. And now I have a stupid bishop. A stupid bishop. And I cannot play my knight anymore to defend this, because this is... No, I'm not happy. This is nasty. Wait, the bishop is gone. That's the same thing as putting the knight here. Well, this bishop is still hasn't moved yet. He's gotta give up 1 point so it can disrupt his castling. Put the king in the middle. I'm not really developed myself yet. Hmm. Now, if only I can develop my bishop. Yeah, he does not give me any time to do that. This really sucks. Play your bishop. This bishop, play it. Play. Yes, he plays it. Haha, evil laughter. Bam. That was 3 pawns for but now what? Still having huge problems here. Huge problems. I cannot play this, therefore I cannot play this, and I cannot castle. I really want to push this pawn, which is not possible because it takes my queen. So I would have to play my queen first and then push this pawn. Can I play my queen now? Like, go here? I don't think so. Could pin my knight and stuff. Let's just move the knight. Could go here though. If he takes it and take back, it is still defended. Ah, I can exchange this knight and then I do not have to defend this pawn with queen and knight anymore at the same time. Or not. Or not. Okay, I want a castle, but I cannot. It's also very annoying. Let's defend the pawn again like that then. Now I can play this knight, but yeah, playing this pawn would have been nice also. Then it's not possible anymore with that knight, or not. So I want to play this knight and then castle and then maybe survive, as it were. The knight here, bishop here, that would be nice. Oh, he wants to have my pawn. Well, that's annoying, but I just play it at 4, I suppose. And now, oh, this knight can also attack my pawn. To have it defended 3 times, but yeah, that's annoying. I have to admit that. I can put my knight here. Oh no, it's not. Check, doesn't make any sense. I have the castle. I should castle. No, let's just give away my pawn or something. I want a castle. Let's develop this bishop. Now I can even choose which one I want to castle. And he piles up his attack on my pawn. can go back and defend it again. But then he moves his bishop, and it's attacked again. I'm gonna go back anyway. Defends my queen. That's interesting. I can move this pawn. Oh no! What did I do? Yep. Well, you can take it. I don't care. I could push this forward. Attack his knight. He takes my queen. I take back. He takes. I take. It's absolutely disaster. And we just lose my pawn. Okay, if I move this one, he takes here maybe like that. Take, 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 take. And then I'm here and attacked. And my king is still on the same line as that one, and I'm running out of time. Okay, let's give away the pawn. I'll bring my king in safety. Castling short is not a bad idea. Then I have the rook in the same file as his king. I bet he's going to take my pawn. I'll just have to take back. He's not taking the pawn. Well, now I move it. So I first castle or first? Yeah, I move it. Come on, of course I move it. Then I don't lose my pawn. He could have given check here first. No. Let's attack the queen. Oh! Oh! My own queen is attacked as well. That's why he did it. That's why I did that. Okay, I'm gonna go one step back. Thank you very much. And now I give up because I give my queen away. As you can hear, I'm really depressed. Losing this. Okay, now I'm gonna win on time. Watch me win. I move so fast, you won't know what is happening to him. That's so nasty. Yeah. Take this one as well. Take everything. What? That's so lame. He does not even give me any chance. What do you want? What do you want? Made in two, I guess? Yeah, made in two. I cannot play chess. Okay, now I have humiliated myself in public like this. I'm going to stop the stream and eat pea soup, I think, while watching a movie. Seems like a good idea. What is this? A notice from light chess from Post Bunny. I just wanted to go eat. Damn it. Okay, we'll play one game. But how does this work again? Been practicing. Well, send me something because no, wait, yeah, I cannot send you anything. I don't know how that will work. Challenge, Post Bunny. Of course, rated. Only want to play rated. Post Bunny. Take the game. 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 Are we going to take the game? Or am I going to eat? Yay! She took the game. Okay. Ah, looks like a free pawn. It moved and it looks like a free pawn. Shall I take it? And a free knight. Cannot not take a free knight, right? Just have to take it. I can't help it. I'm so greedy. No, I guess it's time to develop my next piece. Well, I'm like 3 points ahead, so I'm going to exchange, I think. So too lame. It's maybe a bit too lame. Okay, let's not do that. Yeah, but then you go here and attack my pawn again. Okay, I won't take it. Go here. Take your bishop. That looks again like a free pawn, which again we take, obviously. Yeah. No, you want to exchange. That's new. What is my knight doing on the edge? There's someone with homework. C++. Well, we can help, but exciting game, Post Bunny. I'm sorry I didn't make it last longer. I know you enjoyed it. But I'm going to have to eat my pea soup now. You gave away quite a lot though. It was a good game, of course. Good game, but yeah. Don't give away all your pawns and pieces. For free. One move deep. Needs work. Hey, click here. That's good. Got to go. Interesting. Okay. I click on got to go and then I have no chance to spam you anymore. Good game, handshake. Okay, I'm being spammed with notifications from my browser here. Just kidding. What is this? Handshake, yeah, okay.